prefer to travel with a group or solo? Honestly, I can't find my way to the mall on my own, so I would always like to travel with a group. Um, or if I'm meeting somebody halfway, as long as I know when I get to the destination, I've got a party of people or at least one person. I need a seeing eye dog, basically. So, what made me decide to join CAM4 on the adventure? Well, like I said, I don't get out much. It was after the pandemic. To be 100% honest, I had some weight goals. So I was like, you know what? If I can conquer my weight goals, this will push me to go on this trip, think outside the box. Um, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to experience life and live in the moment again and enjoy some sort of normalcy of life. What was my experience like on the yacht? At first, I was like a little intimidated because I get motion sickness. I mean, I haven't been that far away from home. I'm like, you know what? What happens if I get sick? What happens if, one of my friends gets sick? But I was a little bit more intimidated, I guess, to meet the crew. But once I clicked with the crew, it was just like I felt kind of like a second family. But yeah, I was kind of blown away by the size of the yacht itself. Like, I mean, you do see these things on TV and you're like, wow, what a lifestyle. But like honestly, you wouldn't even know you were on a boat at this point. So yeah, I was just blown away by the actual beauty of the boat itself. What was my ultimate favorite memory of the yacht charter? Honestly, I want to say it was like the beach lunch because we kind of all went. We were in a good form. It was like a light lunch, and they had like water sports, not those kind of water sports. They had real water sports. So I'm like, okay, great. I have to get suited up in a life jacket and flotation devices and all that stuff. So then I think it was Culver was like, hey, do you want to try going kayaking? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. No one knows I can't swim. So like me and Van are like, we're each other's kind of safety blanket. So it's like, yeah, cool. Want to go kayaking? We both like kind of looked at each other like, yeah, I guess. And we just cracked a White Claw and off we went. And I can honestly say I'm a pretty damn good kayaker. How is it like being on the boat with camera crew and the actual, deck crew? It was bizarre, but honestly, before you knew it, you were kind of already thrown into it. So it's like I'm like thinking like there's gonna be a cue when they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna start rolling now. It was like as soon as we were introduced, cameras were out, we were kind of swarmed around. There were drones, which was cool. But there's little secret, I think most people would never know this, I guess, but there's like little secret doors on the sides. So like when you're making your way down the hallway to your rooms, it's almost like they get the cue that they're coming. The door is open. They all kind of just like move around you. And it was just like, whether it was your audio, like they were so accommodating, right? And like half the time my audio pack would fall like in the back of my boxers. So it looked like I had like a loaded diaper one point, and you probably see it. But yeah, they were just so helpful and so nice. And like it was almost like they felt like we were like stars almost. I mean, maybe we are kind of, but I was just like, yeah, I was kind of nervous with all the camera crew, but like they were some of my favorite people. Not saying I didn't like the actual deck crew, but the production crew were awesome. They were super sweet. Okay, what is my most memorable interaction with the captain? Okay, honestly, it is kind of intimidating. It all started with a knock at my door, actually me and Vanna's door. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who's knocking at the door? And the door opens and it's the captain. I'm like, oh my God, hey captain, like what the hell are you doing at my room? And then of course, the camera crew is all behind him. I'm like, something's going down. I'm like, oh God. So then he informs me that Laura, who is our primary, tested positive for COVID. So I'm like, fuck, we're all fucked. We're all going down. And he, informed me that she was going to be taken off the boat. So he's like, you might want to give her a call. And he kind of like walked me through it. And he was like super sweet, but he was so kind. Like he was so nice. But his concern was always on our end. And he just made sure that we all had some way of saying goodbye in case Laura was, not returning. So that was probably my first memory and my most kind of meaningful memory, I guess. I felt like it was a personalized, I better go to tell Johnny first. Right? I don't know. No, because it was weird. Like honestly, my eyes and ears are open at all times. So I was like listening to stuff production was saying and what the actual people on the boat were saying, and I was like, this is so bizarre. I was like, where's Laura? It was like you're like shrouded in this like mysterious black veil. Like I just remember you're all just, I don't know if it's something they told you to wear, but it came out and it was just like you're walking the plank. And I was like, oh my God. But then I remember hearing production saying, she's coming, she's coming. Okay, everybody put your masks on, put your masks on. And then like prior to that, nobody had masks on, right? So like even when the captain came to my room, like we were all just, wasn't that the beach lunch? It was right after we came back. So we were all definitely close. It wasn't like, we kind of all parted ways for the day. So like if anybody was in close quarters, it would have been me. It would have been the captain, it would have been all of us. So it just seemed really random that there was a queue to like, oh, do we have our masks? Do we have our masks? And as soon as they started rolling again, all the masks came out and they really were like, did it for, like by procedure. So, but yeah, 100% storyline. Who else stood out to me? I would definitely say Margot. I know people would be like, oh my God, I was starstruck by like Aisha or Culver or Joao or even the captain. Like there's key players on below deck. But it would have been Margot, because I remember like we were introduced and they had this like charcuterie board of like these like crazy exotic fruits and whatever. And then she kind of casually just made conversation with me. And then I don't even know what she said, but the conversation came up about our interactions with other people we don't know. And I said, honestly, up front, full disclosure, I hate everybody when I meet them. I'm like, as I get to know you, I let you in. She's like, I'm the same way. She's like, I say it all the time. She's like, I hate everybody. I'm like, well, I officially like you. And then we kind of like, had a little clink of a glass. Margot and I don't know, it's a toss. I really liked Harry. Harry was so nice. He was like a young Tom Cruise, very like Top Gun Tom Cruise. But yeah, Margot's definitely my top. I'm trying to think what activities and excursions did I enjoy the most, or I didn't get injured, because a lot of them I was pre-injured, so I was kind of like going into it where it was like I was really like, I'm gonna give her, I'm really gonna live a little. And they would like hold me back and be like, why don't you sit on the boat with us and we'll go out in the water with you, but like while they're diving and looking at the aquatic life, you can just sit there and I don't know, get backsplashed from the ocean. I was just like, what excursion? I don't know, I'm trying to think. There was one, I don't know, one day I got so burnt that I think I missed the whole next day. I remember the captain was like, I don't think you should come out with us because the sand is going to be basically like a giant reflective mirror and you're already like boiled, like you're completely red. Yeah, no, I definitely did. I was on the boat and Laura was in the water with Sky. Vanna was in the water at one point and I had to sit back on the boat, and it just started storming out of nowhere. So it was supposed to be like an actual activity, but got cut short because like the clouds were rolling in. They're like, oh, we got to move out of here immediately. It's going to be so bad. And then like in 5 minutes, it was like pitch blackout. Laura was sick. Everyone was like, oh, I don't feel well. Even Adam was scared to go back and get like some little rescue raft thing. But I like shit like that. So like I thought this storm was really fucking cool because it literally went from, oh my God, I shouldn't swear. It went from like a beautiful day, like in Jurassic Park, like, looking around at the beautiful greenery and the ocean and these rocks and crabs kind of just like doing their own thing, and then black, just black. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, this will be interesting. But then I remember like, I don't even know. But yeah, I think that was a cool experience for me because I love storms. How you have to fill out a request sheet on the yacht based on your like eating requests, what you like, your snacks, your favorite meals, ideal breakfast. I literally was like, how am I going to sell to these people that I'm a somebody? That my taste is so refined that they're going to be like, this guy's palate is fucking insane. We really must cater to this man. So my my request sheet was, I can't even explain to you how long it was and how ridiculous it was, but I had like, I don't know, I had like Wagyu steak, and then I had like, what was the it's like a tequila. It comes in it looks like it's a China. It's like blue and white. It's like a really expensive brand. Well, apparently there's a vintage black bottle of it. So I put that on it. I was really picky about jelly bean flavors. I remember me and Vanna made it like the biggest joke. Like we specified so much weird like candies and caviars and specific types of smoked salmon. And I don't know, like that's my biggest regret is not asking for my request sheet when I left. I would have loved to have them sign it and keep it, because every time I watch an episode, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if they're going to be like, this person's going to be awful to deal with. Like I had no substitutions, no allergies. I just wanted everything that was expensive. Did I get it? Honestly, yeah, I didn't get almost any of what I asked for, but I got a lot of the candy, which was great. But it actually worked out because I got to try new things. However, the final breakfast, I got my smoked salmon, I got my caviar. Vanna even got like country biscuits and gravy. Like, so they made up for it each meal. Like, I don't know. But I enjoyed all the food. I won't lie. I ate. Okay, what were some of my top dishes from Chef Zarina? Honestly, she made this like really spicy carrot soup one night. And I think it was for like our heaven and hell. It was so fucking good, but I'm like not joking. I had the heartburn of life after. So it's a toss. It was definitely like I really enjoyed the soup. I know that much. And there was like, I think it was one of the breakfasts or it might have been a lunch. Sky requested some weird fucking boiled salted fish thing. It was like this like just it wasn't it wasn't exactly served or presented in a way that was like, wow, that's really pretty. It was just this like fish. I don't know, it was really bizarre. We kind of all picked and poked at it. That was really good. So I guess the soup and the fish. There was some lobster moments somewhere that I enjoyed, but I'm sure I inhaled it. There wasn't enough seafood. I was like, I want like like I asked for like lamb chops and like fucking I don't know, like torched lobster tail and weird stuff. But okay, so on the yacht, I learned how to kayak, which was really cool. I already mentioned this, but it was definitely like a really, I don't know, it was a proud moment for myself because like I don't swim. I hate water. I'm a cat. Like I love to get clean, but don't throw me in the water because I'll literally fight somebody. I learned to kayak. I learned the water wasn't as scary as I once believed. And I also learned that when you're really injured or you're bleeding, to not go in the ocean. I thought that was a good idea because of the salt, the natural water. Like, no. So yeah, don't go in the ocean if your knee is gaping open. Okay, so I have two moments that were, I think, the most memorable specifically for me that I really do feel like they're going to make the episode. Not make it as a whole, but there's no choice. I might as well face it now. This is going to be somewhere on the show. They're like, bring reef shoes. Bring reef shoes. I don't fucking need reef shoes. I'm like, reef shoes. I'm not gonna walk on coral. Whatever. So anyway, long story short, we go to this day lunch beach thingy. It's on a little private beach. Of course, it is riddled with seashells and looks like bones and teeth, and I don't even know what, but there's not a drop of sand, and I am barefoot. So I think Vanna was also barefoot. So like literally, like our feet were tore up. So it got to a point where it was just like I didn't even care. It was like numbing at this point where I was walking on these shells. So anyway, I see Sky and he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be adventurous," and he's gonna go do his Tarzan moment. So he goes into like the jungle, which is legitimately the jungle in Australia, with spiders that could kill you and snakes that could kill you, and like I don't even freaking know, probably leaves that could rub up on you and kill you. Here I am, no reef shoes, and I'm like, "Yeah, Sky can do it, so can I." So I was scaling the rocks. I'm climbing these big rocks climbing, climbing, climbing. There's vines. It's really cool. And I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm really doing this. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I go to step off this like rock that's maybe about 5, 6 feet in the air. And my foot goes between that rock and another. And I'm just like, ugh! And it's probably the most uncomfortable sounding audio you would probably ever hear. And I really hope they use it. So please pay attention to the audio. Vanna had lost her voice at one point, and I guess the reaction or the noises of just like I was being punched in the gut by myself. Like it was just I landed on my wrist. I cut open my knee. I think I sprained my ankle, but the other pain was so bad I didn't even really notice that my ankle was all messed up. Yeah, I just remember everyone screaming and production running out, and they're like, "Oh my god, what's going on? Like someone's been hurt." And I'm like, "Oh great, this is the dramatic episode where they fly in, you know, the I don't know, the helicopter or something and bring me back to land, and I'm off the show." So I come stumbling out of the jungle. Van is screaming my name. Everyone's just standing there waiting to see what's about to come out. And I come out. I don't want to look down at my knee because I'm like, I know it's bad because I can see the blood and I can feel the blood. But anyway, long story short, I busted open my whole knee. I pretty sure I cracked my wrist. I have no idea. And then I was like, okay, well, like, let's not stand around and have everyone look at my blood. So I go to walk into the ocean and then I hear production, hey, Johnny, turn around. We want to get a shot of your knee. And I'm literally just standing there and they're like zooming in on my knee. So anyway, I go to try to clear it up. I get some like salt water and a bottle of water because I know we have to go back. And this is the funniest part of this entire moment. I am injured. Like I am like fully not telling people how sore and how banged up I was, but nobody actually saw the fall. But I was convinced I broke my wrist, I cracked my knee, and I broke my ankle. And I was just like, I can do this, man up. So I just started sucking back drinks, went out to the ocean, kind of cleared off. But then we had to go back to the yacht, right? So I mean, I'm already wounded. My legs are short as hell. So everyone's getting in the yacht. Sky's tall, Laura's tall, Jesse's like I think on the back of Adam. Vanna got a piggyback into the boat, and everyone's just watching me stand there. And I'm like, well, how am I gonna get into the fucking boat? I can't lift my leg. So I'm doing these like running sprints, and I'm just bouncing off the side of the raft. Eventually, I throw my wounded leg over, which then smears the whole side of the boat with blood. And then Jesse Lee's like, do you want to clean that up? And I'm like, I look over and I'm already mortified. This thing is gushing blood. That was definitely one of the most memorable moments. And the other memorable moment is something I was not expecting. Yes, we're all around nudity. We all know each other. It's fine. I've seen everyone's boobs and balls and whatever. So we have this like wild animal night theme, whatever. So the dessert is the finale of this meal. So they wheel Laura out, and she's literally painted in chocolate. She's got meringues on her nipples. She's got like a little molten lava cake on her cooter. She's just dressed in desserts from head to toe. So it's all like, haha, let's pick and poke at Laura. Let's, make her uncomfortable. And she's just lying there loving it. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go get a little bit of meringue. As I'm doing this, Aisha, which I did not know at the time, but it was Aisha because she admitted it. Somebody picks me up, and first of all, I'm like, I mean, I'm not huge, but I'm not light. I pack a punch, and I feel my whole ass get lifted up. And the next thing I know, I'm put on top of Laura, and then Sky takes my head and completely I guess motorboat, but pushes my head into her crotch. So I'm in a kangaroo onesie covered in, I don't know, chocolate cake and creams and syrups. And I don't like sticky shit. I don't like anything on my face. And I literally was just standing there while everyone just, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, who lifted me up? Because I was like expecting like the captain or Culver or something, and it was Aisha. So little Aisha has been lifting some weights because she lifted me right on top of Laura. But Sky did the damage when he shoved my head to Laura's crotch, for sure. Did I have any naughty sexual experiences? Well, I was on below deck. For whatever reason, I did not jerk off probably for like 3 days prior. Okay. I'm just like, I don't know. I was just like so overwhelmed. I'm like, I gotta pack. I got so much to do. I'll jerk off and, when I'm there, whatever. I made it the entire trip with not one encounter, with not one stroke. I don't know. It was so weird. And I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to like not have sex? Like me and Vanna will probably do something. So like the tension is going to be so like rampant amongst everybody. Because everyone's like so oversexed and like whatever. But I don't know. I was just so fucking tired. So like not even personalized experiences with nobody. Okay, did I have a crush with anybody on the crew? This is gonna be weird because I know him better now. Yes, I had a crush on Adam. Why? Because he was just such a nice, he was so nice. Like such a nice New York kid, just New York accent, just there to help and do whatever he needed to get done. Super, super polite. After my big, wapow in the jungle, he came to my room. Like, I'm sure they should have already done this, and he probably got in trouble for not doing it sooner. But he came to, like, put a tensor bandage on my wrist and check on my knee. And then we just kind of like sat there and had a conversation until I adjusted to the pressure in case he needed to change it. And just like it was like our bonding moment. Adam's just like a New York skater. Do I think anybody else had a little bit of a swing? I don't know, because Sky and Claudio did room together and they're both very cock hungry. It's one thing I can tell you about those two boys: cock hungry, insatiable. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna bone. They're gonna fucking bone for sure. I don't even, if it's in a drunken stupor, something's gonna happen. They're gonna bone. I'm gonna know about it, and so's Vanna, because we're across the hall and we like to eavesdrop and whatever. And it was just, we were so over like trying to listen to see if we're ever gonna hear these wild sex noises. And it was confirmed after they didn't. I don't know about any of the crew and the guests, because I don't really know. I've never really seen any of that like on TV. Like no one's ever hooked up with like the charter guests. I think it's like a unspoken rule. Like they don't even hang out. So I don't think anything like that went on, but I definitely feel like there might have been a fling between Adam and Margot. There's definite chemistry there. And there is a lot of sexual tension, I think, between Zarina and Jessie Lee. Why? Because Jessie Lee is vegan and she was very, very excited about the food. And I know food can be a doorway or a gateway to sex. And I feel like it really just, there's definitely a wild side to Zarina, I feel. What were my thoughts on the deck crew? Okay, so I'm familiar with season one. I made sure I studied this shit. So when I was going on the show, I was like, I already know you. I know you, but you don't know that I know you. First of all, there was only 3 people that were the same as season one of Down Under. So I was just like, well, there goes that. I've literally researched these people's lives to make small talk, and none of them are the same. First, I was just like, my goal was not to get along with any of them, not like to be purposely rude, but I just didn't want to click with them. Like I felt like it was an obligation on their end to be, humbling and, very open to us and do this, do that, and always with a smile, whatever. That I was just like, even at the end of the day, we'll never know if these people are genuinely our friends or if they're like, thank God. Because when it airs, you don't know what they say behind the scenes. But honestly, by the end of the charter, between seeing them like participate in some of our outrageous activities, like we're talking like even the gay brunch, there was like, I don't know who had like the elephant trunk. Someone had an elephant trunk pair of underwear. Someone had a ball gag in their mouth. Pretty sure I saw some balls. I was like, oh my God, these people are wild. And then we kind of did a staged kind of happy hour, night, which is something we do on CAM4, where it's like a variety show. So it's almost like a talent show where everyone goes, they take a turn. And the crew was so wild. I was like, I know like they probably wanted to sex it up because we obviously are all from that, kind of career path. But I was like, oh my God, like these people are gonna be like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Like I was like blown away by the participation. But by the end, like I'm not gonna lie, I do hate everybody. And I always say that in the beginning, but I cried like a fucking toddler. I literally was like, I'm not good at goodbyes. I usually don't say hello because I never want to say goodbye. And that's usually how my life works. So I'm like, oh, here are these amazing people, my new Australian family. And I have to take the walk of not shame, but like the, oh God, don't cry, don't cry. And then some of their emotion on their end was almost just as genuinely clicked with us the way we clicked with them. So I think because there was an emotional level on both ends, I don't know. I just was like, I remember getting off the yacht, and then me and Claudio had to go over in the production van, and I'm like fanning my face. I'm like, I'm crying, and he's like, oh, Johnny, I'm crying. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why am I was crying even in the van. watching them in the window as they're waving bye to us, and I'm crying. A fucking idiot.